We already know what you do, so I don't know if anybody else has. We know you've been doing a stellar job
Thank you.
in North Miami.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you very much.
the Haitian Neighborhood Center? No,
No,
actually,
Flick, Florida Immigration.
Florida Immigration Coalition. Nah, yeah, nah, I'm sorry, I called you too early. Florida Immigration, I mean Immigrant Coalition.
Good evening, Council. Major Joseph, thank you for having us today. My name is Roberto Benavides, and I'm the Citizenship Coordinator for the Florida Immigrant Coalition. First of all, I wanted to thank you all for allowing us to work with the City of North Miami for the past couple of years with the CDBG grant, working to help allow folks be really integrated into the community by becoming U.S. citizens. I am here tonight to petition to so that FLIC continues to get awarded the CDBG grant for the 2018-2019 year. With this award, we can continue to assist folks, specifically here from the city of North Miami, with the need of citizenship. The Dade County as a whole, there's about 300,000 folks that may be potentially be eligible for citizenship, of which only 10% of them apply yearly. The USC Dornside Center for the Study of Immigrant Integration estimates that the city of North Miami only has about 10,000 residents who could potentially become U.S. citizens. And that's why we're here today, to be able to continue to do that work. Many of the other folks that we help out, a little bit more than 60% of them actually qualify for some sort of government aid to be able to apply for citizenship. And there's a great bunch of them that actually do not qualify for that aid. So we also offer the opportunity to apply for microloans to be able to apply for citizenship. And this we do as part of advocacy, because we know that by becoming a U.S. citizen, it does not only allow you the benefit of voting, but also, as someone in the council can attest, allows you to run for office if you choose to do so, allows you to protect your family from deportation, and petition them as well to be here with you, as many of us have had to do that through the years. Once again, I wanted to thank the commission for allowing us to work with you all. We're looking forward for the next couple of events.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, I would just say that you've done about 3 or 4 citizenship drives a year, and you've given valuable service. People are just thrilled, come back, oh, I'm a citizen now, I've made it, and even you've free legal advice at these clinics is fabulous for these people, just beyond citizenship, and it serves a diversity in our city, and I know that we are checking to make sure that it is residents first.
Correct.
So if we have a couple extra slots, non-residents, they're allowed, but I can attest that we are strictly North Miami residents first. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Keith. And I just wanted to present to you all, this is Stein Jean. She's a volunteer with the Florida Immigrant Coalition. She just wanted to share with you her experience about helping out folks.
We're okay with that.
What is
Good
it?
eve-
We're okay with
Is that
Flick.
okay?
We're all right. We're good. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I started volunteering with the Florida Immigrant Coalition. Can you all hear me?
Yeah. No, I think that what they're saying is
We
that
said we
you've
are
already
there.
expended your
We
2
know
minutes.
what
If we give
you-
extra time, we have to
Okay.
give
Thank
every
you.
group extra time.
We know what Flick been doing
So,
as far as citizenship, and
Okay,
thank you.
I'm happy that
Thank
I
you.
introduced Flick to the city of North Miami, and you've been doing a phenomenal job for the past 5 years.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Ladies of Valor. Love.
He's not in red.
Wow. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Lydia Alud Pierre. I'm the founder of the Ladies of Valor Empowerment, where the Youth of Valor Empowerment was birthed. I saw a need in our greater city on the move, and I decided to just act upon it. Throughout my career, I've worked for public safety, and I had the opportunity to visit youth juvenile delinquency, and I realized, there's something we can do. So the Youth of Valor Empowerment, it's right here in the city of North Miami, serving the girls in the city of North Miami who are referred by the North Miami Senior High and North Miami Middle. The program is open to all girls attending public school between the ages of 14 to 18. The Youth of Valor Empowerment, I created a creed. All the UOV, it's a requirement that each one of them, they know their creed by heart. And I wrote a song, they know their song by heart. And I've invited some people on the dais to come see what we've been doing. I make sure the youth, they understand beauty is not from the way you dress from the outside. You have to dress properly. If you're gonna be a leader for tomorrow, you cannot dress and showing the world what the Lord gives you. Not only I bring an international etiquette lady who also Miss America coach. We provide them the clothing. I work with partners and collaborators in the city because the UOV program is bigger than us. As a matter of fact, I call it a love movement. One of our biggest collaborators in the city of North Miami is the Johnson & Wales University, because I make sure the girls, they understand obesity kills. Every session we go to Johnson & Wales University where we go in the kitchen, they teach the kids hands-on how to eat healthy without spending a lot of money.
All right.
We work with the state attorney's office.
You know we know you.
We finished?
We good. Yes, thank you.
You know we know you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
How could we not know you? Santla?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wilbert Laurent, representing Santlat, Haitian Neighborhood Center. I'd like to thank you for the invitation, and on behalf of Santla, I also want to take the opportunity to thank you for your great support. Santla has been located in the city of North Miami since January 2016, but the organization has been around for over 18 years. Your input has allowed us to efficiently continue to meet our goal of providing quality job opportunities to the resident of Miami, but more importantly and more specifically to the resident of North Miami. The employment program at Santla has a very successful rate of placement. The department, from the past fiscal year alone, I mean from July 2017 to June 2018, a total of 2,258 clients have been served, and 1,735, or 77% of them, are from the great city of North Miami. And from those who were referred, more than 62% were successfully placed in different companies and organizations. Your input to our program is extremely important, and we could have not done all this without your support. Therefore, I encourage the CDBG to continue to invest in our effort to better assist the residents of North Miami. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wilbert.
Thank you. All right, this is it, folks.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that we continue this item till our August 22nd agenda after the holidays so that we can have time to further assess all of the applications and backup documentation.
I would second that.
So I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to continue tab F till the next council meeting. That motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Keys. All in favor?
Wait, for discussion, can I ask a question before we vote, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
So we are delaying it with what's gonna happen at the next meeting? Are we gonna finalize,
What I'll do is, this will give me the opportunity to go into the database, print out all the backup materials, provide you with that, including all the scores, so you can see all the criteria and everything, and then I guess have some further individual discussions with you. it's clear. I know you guys are concerned about the funding amount and all that stuff, so perhaps we can come up with some
Resolution.
some resolution.
Just quick suggestion, is it something IT could create where we just
Yeah.
go in there?
Yeah,
where it
actually,
doesn't-
what
yeah,
we'll do, it's a
A link
it's
or
a
something?
it's a outside hosted
Portal.
website.
Okay.
I just got my sign on, so what I can do is get each of you
Yeah,
a generic
instead of
or a
printing.
sign on,
Yeah,
and then you guys can go in at your leisure and look, because it is a lot of.
yeah,
If
that's
you
too
think
much.
this book is thick,
Thank you,
that
that's it.
would be a lot of paper.
Before we take a note of vote for this, I have one recommendation. Though I will not be here at this time next year, but there is something called insanity. Insanity is defined by doing the same thing and not getting the results, and you expect that you will get the different results. If you keep doing the same thing, this is going to be the same thing next year. So we have to fix it, guys. I mean, this is not the most efficient way to do this. Anybody can see it. That's insane. And I will vote no to continue with. I would like to vote tonight instead. Yeah, that would be my.
Okay, so the motion was made by Councilman Godwin to continue this item till next council meeting. That motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Item passes with a 3-2 vote. Just for the record, the no votes were Councilman Bieneme and Mayor Smith Joseph. Tab H, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of Metro Express, Inc. as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide all labor, equipment, materials, services, and expertise required to complete the Tressler Street Drainage Improvements Project in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 27-17-18.
That love them.
Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement with Metro Express, Inc. for the provision of services in an amount not to exceed $832,469, providing for an effective date.
Quick question, I'm sorry, Mr. Estrada, before we started, on the last item, they don't have to come back and do anything next time, right?
No.
Okay, all right. and deal with-
You've had a public hearing. You've allowed all of them to
Okay.
speak. So
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor,
Mhm.
council members. Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. The item that you have before you is staff's recommendation for your approval of the bid results of solicitation number 271718, which was issued by our office for the Tressler Street Drainage Improvement Project, which is located along Northeast 17th Avenue from Northeast 16th Avenue to Northeast 135th Street. As reflected in our council report, in response to this solicitation, the city received 12 bids, which were open on April 4th, 2018. Subsequently, our office, in conjunction with the Public Works Department, reviewed and evaluated these bids, and the conclusion is the recommendation that is before you to award this project to the company Metro Express Incorporated for a not-to-exceed amount of $832,468, and the project is to be completed within 180 days. With me here in support of this item is the Public Works Director, Mr. Whistler Pierre Lewis, and if you have any questions regarding this item, we'll be glad to answer them.
Oh, staff. Yeah. Okay, public hearing is now open on the item. Oh, no, you said the director's going to speak? No, I'm sorry. Public hearing is open on item H, as in Harry. See none, hear none. Public hearing is closed.
I'd move approval, Mr. Mayor. Although I think Mr. Bieneme had
I
a
have
question.
a few questions. And last week, we wrote some water and sewer project as far as pump stations and sewer line. Is it correct? From
That's correct, yes.
From 2 weeks ago.
Solicitations for pump stations, and we have two on the agenda this evening, for pump stations number 10 and pump stations number 12.
Oh, you have two pump stations tonight.
That's correct.
How many
Which are
was
the following
there?
items.
2 weeks ago, how many was there?
Well, there was the water main that we submitted at the last agenda.
Okay. Why 100% of those projects are from the east side only?
I'll have to defer to the Public Works Director on that.
I understand it's one city, but if you spend all the money on 1 year only on the east side, what about the west side?
Whistler Pierre Lewis, Public Works Director. All of the projects are based on need. There are different conditions throughout the city. Some locations have water mains that are in different conditions than other locations, and the same goes for the pump stations. There are projects or locations that have need on the west side. It just may seem as this month or so that they're maybe more on the east side and west side, but there are times where also there are probably more projects on the west side than the east side.
Do you choose by priority?
Yes, these are all based on recommendations that come from our consultants.
Okay.
Does it specify in the backup where the work is gonna be done? It specifies that? Hmm?
Where?
I mean,
Right.
in the resolution, it doesn't say where the
Yeah.
job is gonna be done.
It's pump
Yes,
10
it's
and pump,
it's included in the council
yeah.
report. It's
Oh,
in
it's
the
in the-
council report,
oh, okay.
Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve tab H. The motion was second by Councilwoman, Vice Mayor Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
No, I didn't say anything. How you saying that? No, whatever it is.
It's tab H, Councilman Desmond. How do you vote regarding tab H?
I just told you, you got 4-1.
So you voted no? Okay, so item passes with a 4-1 vote. For the record, the no vote was Councilman Desmond. Tab I. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of Stonehenge Construction LLC as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide all labor, equipment, materials, services, and expertise required to complete the rehabilitation of wastewater pump station number 10 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 37-17-18. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to finalize and execute an agreement with Stonehenge Construction LLC for the provision of services in an amount not to exceed $874,579, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Mr. Mayor, council members, the item that you have before you under tab I is a recommendation, the results of solicitation number 371718 issued by our office for the rehabilitation of wastewater pump station number 10. As reflected in the council report, our office received 6 proposals in response to this solicitation, and the proposals were reviewed in conjunction with the Public Works Department, and our results and recommendation is the award of this project to Stonehenge Construction LLC for a not to exceed amount of $874,579 and a project or completion duration not to exceed 225 days. And if you have any questions regarding this item, I'll be glad to take them.
Where is the location of that pump?
The location, Councilman Bieneme, as reflected in the council report, it's located along Canal Drive between Northeast 117th and 118th Roads.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
Let me quickly open it. Public hearing is open on the item. Anyone who wishes to be heard, please come forth. See one, hear none. Public hearing is closed.
Thank you, sir. Quick question for you, Mr. Estrada. You said there was 6 responder, and I meant to ask a couple of questions with the last one, so I didn't, so that's my vote with that one. But this was not piggyback? This was,
No, this is a competitive, this is a, Councilman, it's a competitive bid.
because I was going through it, so we scored this and they came and present, and we felt like this was based on the, or was this a RFP?
No, it's a competitive bid. In
Compa-
fact, as
Okay.
part of the council report, you should have it. I have a copy here with
It's
me.
a lot.
I'll be glad, there's a bid tabulation. There's a
That's-
tabulation of all the bids that we received. I'll be glad to give you a copy that I have.
Please
with me.
do so, because I was I think I found, no, I was looking for it. I saw it in one of them, but, can, that would be, pretty sure it was. Thank you, okay, okay. Quick question, now, we're not gonna, this item, I'm assuming, and I don't have no problem supporting, because this is vital, you don't anticipate them coming back saying, oh, we did something, or we need more money?
No, we
Okay.
don't, Councilman DeSulme. This is what's called a hard bid.
Okay.
It's a lump sum amount.
Okay,
This is it. This is a bid on what's called the plans and the specifications. So this is a not to exceed amount.
okay, thank you.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Keys, Vice Mayor Keys, to approve tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
No, we
Go ahead,
haven't
go ahead, go ahead.
discussed it.
We were discussing.
No. Okay, and let's put on record that this administration, last week, 2 weeks ago, you spent over $3 million on the east side, and tonight you are spending another $3 million on the east side for water and sewer project. That's been is by choice, or is because that's needed on the east side, not on the west side?
Once again, Councilman Bieneme, and I'll let the Public Works Director speak to that a little bit more, but as he mentioned earlier, all of these projects are sort of need-based.
We understand
There's
that,
a
but
level
you
of
spend
priorities.
$7 million on one side only, when the entire city need improvements.
Again, I'll let him speak,
And-
but I'm sure that there's objective criteria for this. It's really not based on any
No, that's two
specific
things.
reason.
No, it got nothing to do with you. They ask you to put an RFP out there and they give you the location. You don't choose the location. The city manager and Public Works choose the location, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure. The water main that was approved last week was on 143rd between 18th Avenue and 16th Avenue in that area. The last water main that was approved before then was on 6th Avenue between 146th and 137th. That's in District 3. We also have a list of projects which we are addressing. These are all locations that were recommended by our consultant. And the,
Can you give us
Can I see that
can
list?
can you give us the list? No, on record, the locations. Say
okay.
all the
Sure.
locations.
The locations are Pump Station B, which is on 135th Street, Northwest 2nd Avenue. We ran a force main from 135th to 131st Street on Northwest 2nd Avenue. That was done approximately 3 or 4 years ago. The next recommendation was for addressing I&I and E-Basin. E-Basin is generally the District 3 area. It is the area between West Dixie Highway, I want to say between 135th and 145th generally. We have H Station, which is located on 130th Street, Northeast 14th Avenue. We have K Industrial, located on 143rd Street, Northeast 18th Avenue. Hospital Pump Station is located on 125th Terrace, Northeast 16th Avenue. Futura, off the top of my head, I can't give you the exact location for that pump station. I believe it's, yes, 142nd Northeast 2nd Court. It is by an elementary school, I believe, in that area. We have the upgrade of I Pump Station. It is on Northeast 18th Avenue, 124th Street. Sanssouci 3, that is the next pump station to be approved on the agenda. That is on Canal Drive and Northeast 122nd Road. And we have the upgrade of the force main along Biscayne Boulevard, which was completed approximately 3 years ago.
Which is how much total?
The total
have
for all
that?
of these projects was estimated back in 2011 to be $6 million.
And now that's the last group of projects?
This is the group of projects from our sanitary sewer master plan.
Okay.
But remember, all of them are not limited. This is the sanitary sewer master plan. We also have a list for addressing our water mains as well. And then we also have a master
It's
plan to
because-
address
it's
stormwater.
because
Well,
residents
also-
been calling me and said,
Okay.
how come we are spending all the money on
Okay.
one side
Well,
of
on
the city?
when we had the budget workshop, we talked about stormwater as well. And you had raised the same issue, like were there
Because
more
you-
projects on the east
you
or
put
west?
$57 million
Right.
on the east
Right.
side, don't
No, actually, it's not.
For
Your
the-
your
for the
district is
Ashburn.
actually one of the districts that has projects in it as well.
He's on the east.
They wanna, no. It's
So,
because,
But
some
that's in the,
residents
but
been
that's in,
calling me.
okay,
They
so
want-
what we can
I've gotta
do,
make sure you put
that-
details
that
on
out there.
addresses, then
Okay.
We don't know it just on
Is
one
the-
part of the city.
is the master
That
plan
would
online?
No, it is not.
Okay, so
So-
what we can do is make
If you
the,
can print it and pass it to.
right, but I want the,
homeowners Association, all
okay,
those things.
we will
Put
get it out.
online as well. I mean, put it
Yeah, I'll put it online, make it available, but, and you can see I hate to say there's equity in the spending of the money, because it is based on technical, conditional research of the engineers. But there are, in the case that
I
you're
understand
asking,
that, but you know, resident been raising
Asking.
that question
Okay.
about,
And also, sorry if I may, Mr. Manager, also to add, there are projects that we will be bringing within the next few months that will be water mains on the west side. We're looking at Pump Station A. We've had a lot of complaints about the odor. It's the pump station next to
Yeah,
the
because
pool. So there are things coming, and like I mentioned before, and the manager
So
also
why-
mentioned,
why-
it's based on need and when the projects come up. We're executing the recommendations and implementing them as recommended by our consultants and as we see the need citywide.
okay.
Well, I have a question, if you allow me, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you just opened, I don't even, never mind, because we have other fight to fight tonight, so it's okay.
All right, so I did have a motion made by Councilwoman Keys to approve tab I. The motion was second by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Item passes with a 4-1 vote. Tab J. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of Southeastern Engineering Contractors, Inc. as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide all labor, equipment, materials, services, and expertise required to complete the rehabilitation of wastewater pump station number 12 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 38-17-18. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to finalize and execute an agreement with Southeastern Engineering Contractors, Inc. for the provision of services in an amount not to exceed $979,766, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Mr. Mayor, council members, the item that you have before you under tab J is the results and recommendation to award of solicitation number 381718. This is for the rehabilitation of wastewater pump station number 12, which was alluded to a little earlier by the Public Works Director. It's located along Canal Drive and Northeast 122nd Road. In response to this solicitation, the city received 5 bids, and again, they were reviewed and evaluated by my office in conjunction with the Public Works Department, and the results thereof is what is submitted for your review. The recommendation is to award this to Southeastern Engineering Contractors Incorporated for a not-to-exceed amount of $979,766 and for a project duration of 225 days. And again, the bid tabulation is a part of your council report. If you cannot find it, I'll be glad to give you all a copy. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Yeah, let me get a copy, because I'm looking for it. So where is it? It's not in here.
Okay, public hearing is now open. See none, hear none.
Jessica's coming.
I guess I heard some.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street, Sunkist Grove. Council, I just want to register a complaint for ignoring us there. I think you referred to it as Pump Station A, which is in dire need of repair. I don't know what class demands a hazard, but that certainly is a hazard to health. If you go through there, you can smell the area for a mile before you reach there. And I'm registering a formal complaint in that you haven't addressed this problem yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ashton. Public hearing is still open, but I see none, hear none. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of my biggest issue, and I thought we were done with these items, is we have all of these complaints, which I know the manager has gotten. I've heard from Ms. Brown. You got smells where the people can't even live a quality of life, so I don't know where in the rank the Public Works Director put that. So that's my only issue tonight. I don't know where the equity here is, but okay, I have no other issues. Thank you.
I have a question for Public Works Director. The pump station on 137 and 5th, is it a county pump station?
Yes, it is. It's a county pump station.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, do you need a motion?
Well, I think, are you through, Councilman?
Yes, I'm done.
Yeah.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve tab J. The motion was second by Vice Mayor Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Can I quickly ask a question unrelated, well, kind of related? It's the work that was being done at 131st by county, 131st, is it Griffin? That's county, right? And,
Stormwater pump station. Yes.
and is it going to solve the problem? What's that lady's name? The one
Ms.
that,
West.
No, it's not.
Miss West?
No,
No?
it's not.
It doesn't address her problem at all? Okay. Hmm?
It's 4 homes. It's not.
No? No, I know it needs to be addressed at some point of time. That's why I was. Go ahead.
All right, just to finalize, so we did have a motion made by Councilman Galvin. It was seconded by Vice Mayor Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passed with a 5-0 vote. Tab K. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's selection of Waste Pro of Florida, Inc. to provide sanitation services, further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement in the amount not to exceed $3,500,000 annually in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in request for proposals number 64-16-17, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Mr. Mayor, council members, the item that you have before you under tab K is the recommendation from the evaluation committee for the award of RFP 64-16-17 in response to the solicitation for sanitation services. The assistant director from my office, Mr. Philip Ford, has been overseeing this procurement process, and he is going to make a presentation to the council regarding this recommendation, this item.
Do we need recommendation since it was only one?
Thank you, Alberto.
It was only one person.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. As Alberto mentioned, my name is Philip Ford. I'm the Assistant Director for the Purchasing Department. And I'm going to discuss the process that took place tonight that got us here with this recommendation. You have been provided with a hard copy of the presentation that's going to be on the monitor. And what I would like to do is just go through the process and explain to you how the committee came to this recommendation, the activities that occurred that got us here tonight. Okay, all right. So the city's procurement code requires competition when a procurement is done over a certain dollar value. This particular procurement met that threshold. And so what we did was we looked at the industry at large, and prior to issuing thank you, Whistler. So prior to issuing the solicitation, we performed a pre-solicitation meeting. In other words, we allowed all potential respondents to attend a meeting where they interacted with staff. They were allowed to openly discuss a draft solicitation wherein they made recommendations, suggestions, asked questions, and staff in return took into consideration all of those comments made during this meeting, all of those suggestions, all of those requests for clarifications or additions and or deletions to the RFP. The RFP then was formed with the consideration of what the potential respondents were asking for, but also keeping in mind what was in the best interest of the city. And so come December the 1st, wait, let me go back one. Just for clarification purposes, we had 10 individuals attend that meeting representing 4 firms. And the 4 firms, as you see on the presentation, were Great Waste and Recycling Services, Waste Management of Florida, Waste Pro of Florida, and World Waste Recycling. And so the solicitation, the final competitive solicitation, was advertised.
How many of them were invited to the meeting? You say a group of.
Well, we did a couple things. We noticed the meeting on the city's website. We invited as many respondents, potential respondents, as we could find. 10 individuals attended, representing 4 firms for this particular meeting. And so at the conclusion of the meeting, we drafted the RFP, and that RFP was advertised on December the 1st of 2017. The city uses a couple of mediums to advertise all of its competitive solicitations. Of course, we use the city's website. We use demandstar.com, and we advertise in the Miami Daily Business Review. The solicitation, once advertised, it also included an additional opportunity for any potential respondents to ask questions, and we did that in 2 forms. The first being there was another meeting, the pre-proposal conference. And now the difference in the meeting in October and the meeting in December, once the solicitation is let, the cone of silence is in effect. The manner in which we communicate with potential respondents is a little different, and it's guided by the procurement code, specifically the cone of silence. However, nonetheless, this meeting again allowed for potential respondents to ask questions of staff for clarifications and any additional information. That particular meeting, we had 14 individuals attend, representing 8 firms. The 4 firms that was there in October also attended. In addition to those 4, we had Sunshine Recycling Services, Progressive Waste, Waste Connection, and Gold Medal Environmental. And so A part of the pre-proposal conference is we always explain to the individuals in attendance that this meeting is just an open dialogue. It is an opportunity to ask questions of staff. It is not a opportunity for any discussions to be legal in the sense of being incorporated into the RFP. That process comes from the question and answer period. Every competitive solicitation in the city has an opportunity for potential respondents to submit questions in writing. And in turn, the city responds to those questions in writing via an addendum, which subsequently becomes a part of the RFP, and if awarded, becomes a part of the contract. During this question and answer period, we received 70 questions. All 70 was responded to via addendum number 3. So the solicitation is issued. We have a due date, and this particular RFP, the due date was March 7. And so the city received one single response. And we also received 3 no bid responses, a actual submittal by these vendors that said, I am not bidding, and this is the reason why. A single response does not automatically institute a award recommendation. The evaluation process still has to take place. And that evaluation process in an RFP or a competitive bid for that fact is twofold. The first is the purchasing department is responsible for determining if a vendor is responsive to the requirements listed in the RFP. We do the checks and balances, make sure all of the minimum qualifications are met. We make sure all of the documents are signed, and we check their references. So if a vendor is determined to be responsive, then that vendor is forwarded to the selection committee for evaluation. Now, the selection committee responsibility is different. What they are responsible for is determining responsibility, capability, and qualifications. And those determinants are from the evaluation criteria that is listed in the RFP. The committee goes through their process. They individually score and rank, and then collectively, the chairperson of the committee calculates for a total score. That total score is then given to the committee, and they have a discretion of making a couple of recommendations. One, they can recommend to the city manager to accept proposals as submitted, specifically the highest ranked proposal. In this case, they so responded. 2, request to enter into negotiations, or 3, recommend to reject all. So collectively, the committee determined that Waste Pro's proposal met the qualifications of the RFP. They were a qualified firm, they were a responsible firm, and they were a capable firm. So those negotiations, the committee then recommended that we enter into negotiations. And so traditionally, negotiations are done by members of the staff, with procurement being the lead negotiator. And we were very successful, if I may just say from my professional opinion, and negotiating a contract that's going to benefit the city and its residents. Some of those things that we were able to negotiate was a reduction in the monthly services for residents. And when I say reduction, a reduction from what was proposed to what was negotiated. Waste Pro, through negotiations, agreed to supplement the city's code compliance department. Waste Pro also agreed to purchase for the city's contract compliance officer a new Ford F-150 at the beginning of the contract, and a replacement when the contract is renewed. And additionally, and this item is still pending final discussions, but Waste Pro has agreed to build the city a neighborhood trash and recycling facility at their own sole expense. So if, because the procurement code allows, well, requires, shall I say, any respondent for a procurement greater than $250,000 to have a community benefit plan. Now, the code specifically says that the community benefit plan should address employment opportunities for residents of the city of North Miami. However, Waste Pro has committed to some additional benefits that we believe would benefit the city. They're going to partner with CareerSource of Florida to access their database for qualified North Miami residents when employment opportunities are available. They have committed $10,000 annually for swell beautification at the city's discretion. They have committed to award two $1,250 scholarships to residents of North Miami graduating high school seniors. And additionally, as a part of the contract, they're going to use compressed natural gas trucks to perform the services. So if if council decides to award a contract, one of the things that we have done when we issued this solicitation was we looked at some of the issues previously, and we came up with a way to make sure that the services that are requested are going to be performed in accordance with the contract. And so the contract specifically requires a contract administration that's going to be done by the city's contract compliance officer. And we've done a couple of things. One, the city manager has already signed and approved Administrative Reg 00105. So that regulation is a regulation that requires a city department to monitor the vendor's performance from the initiation to the termination of a contract. And not only does it require the vendor's performance, a vendor that has failed to perform will go through the process of corrective actions. If the vendor fails to correct those deficiencies, then the contract can be terminated. And additionally, a part of that regulation is a mandatory requirement that at the conclusion of a contract year or the last year of a contract without any options to renew, a vendor performance evaluation has to be completed by the department. And so one of the things that's included in the RFP and the subsequent contract is we came up with a mechanism to monitor the vendor's performance by a couple of requirements. One is we're going to look at the number of complaints that we get. And we came up with thresholds for garbage and thresholds for recycling. So at any given month in the contract, if we receive more than 0.5% of complaints, the vendor will be assessed liquidated damages for that month of $200 per incident. Within any given contract year, $200 per incident.
Who would pay that?
The vendor.
Oh, I thought you said the resident, okay.
No, the vendor. Okay, so we have thresholds for garbage and we have thresholds for recycling. Those thresholds are monthly and annually. We're going to track the number of complaints through Waste Pro's own Track Easy system, utilizing the user password by the city's compliance officer.
Mr. Mayor, through you, yeah, for the presentation, and this has been actually a very good presentation. Does it seem logical to use Waste Pro's own tracking system to track complaints?
Well, and I'll let Phil go into it, but the Easy Track system is what we have now. It's on the city's website. When people do have a complaint, they go and log in and log their complaint. We will have access, and we do have access to that Easy Track system. Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Deputy, there has not been one person in my district who have not only Easy Track, because they call me and I call Kenneth, and there at least been 100 and something. So I haven't been. So would I need to be the one or my assistant to go on the line and put it in?
Yeah, you would be the one
to be put in.
Well,
Okay.
and let me also say and we did allude to it earlier during his presentation. We do now have the contract compliance person that works with sanitation now. So those calls should be routed to our contract compliance person if there are phone calls. You don't have to call Waste Pro. We call our contract compliance person now, and then they.
We don't get that kind of easy out to say.
I
"Oh, we'll
I
call the
understand
staff
that.
person."
I understand that.
When a resident calls their council person, they hold us and only us to that high threshold. So we can't say, "Well, call the staff and maybe and go online and da 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 da." Who is the staff person you're referencing right now?
The
Mr.
staff person that we're
Lorfels?
referencing to, we moved back the John Lorfield, who had been moved to a code enforcement officer, and that was our issue. That we did remove that person from sanitation and put them in code. And that's when the stuff started going unnoticed of things that weren't done, and we were getting calls from residents. So we put that person back
You really
in place.
think that the complaints only started happening when John
Well,
Lorfels got moved
the-
from
the-
one place to the other?
It stopped us from knowing what was happening in real time of what was happening, because that individual does review each route every day. That is their job, to review the route and make sure that those streets were connected.
Well, we can have a side
Yeah,
conversation
yes.
about Mr.
Okay.
Lorfels and that, but I'll tell you what, and it has been better lately.
Yes,
I
it
will
has.
give Waste Pro some credit and say, of late, things have been better. But ever since we privatized, I could pull up my emails. I'm getting hit around the head with my number of complaints about trash, recycling, pickup. So please don't hang that.
No, I'm
Mr.
not hanging that,
Lorfels
sir.
and
I don't
say that
I don't
that's-
want to hang that, sir. But I want to say, since we did the extension,
All right,
that's when we put Mr. Lorfield back in place.
Let's continue with the presentation.
But yeah, but it says let's
almost
just
done.
continue. But here's the problem.
Yeah, but we're going
just,
to address
we just
them.
said we're going to listen to Waste. We're going to use Waste Pro's Easy Track to track whether or not there are any complaints, and that's how the fines are going to be based.
Yeah.
That's not legit. So right there.
So you can skip that part.
Well, well, well. Let me speak to that. A part of the contract administration plan, and a part of the requirements of Waste Pro is education as we transition to this contract. And so what I mean is this particular contract will not start until 2019. And during that time, they have to, as a part of their requirement of the contract, is they have to educate our citizens. And they have to give us a schedule of when certain things will happen.
What are we going to do? I don't want to talk about what the
Well-
development with the contract.
Yeah.
What are we going to? That's what I want to talk about. But- because that's a problem. We seceded control over garbage pickup when we privatized, and the more we cede to somebody else to take
Yeah.
care of things, the less power, the less control, the less influence we have. So if we're going to say we're going to use their system to track complaints, and we're going to rely on them to do the education, there's a
Can
feeling
I
don't
can
like
I
it.
can I be absolutely honest?
Yeah.
A contract is worth the words on the page, but if you are not enforcing the terms and conditions, those words are costly to the city. In other words, when Waste Pro looked at the RFP, they looked at the amount of the liquidated damages, and they put those into their costs. If we're not enforcing these liquidated damages, we're paying for them on a monthly basis. John and I, John Lowfield, we've been talking about a contract administration plan. John, how are we going to make this work? What are we going to do internally to make this work?
Yeah, but
Yes.
are we discussing the contract tonight?
Well, we're not. We're not,
No,
because we have to get
let's,
there.
let's not get into
Before-
that.
Okay.
Let's not get into the contract.
Mr.
Okay.
Mayor, it's a good point. And also, you need to be discussing it with us, not John, because
Yeah.
we are elected, and it's like this administration want every single one of us, well, thank God Carol, and but I don't think you guys get it. When the people call, they don't care what happened. I can't get, and I don't want to talk about this administration through emails, and it has gotten better. And then you telling me for me to tell my neighbor who called me about the trash not picked up, or you call this person, you call this department. When administration, your own department, I haven't had any problem with any other director, but your own department is so bad at responding to emails. So imagine if I'm telling my neighbor, go and talk to this person, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll
How
do
about we
it.
put a stipulation in this contract that staff gets fined $250
Yes.
if they don't respond to an email.
There you go. Oh, I'm for that.
And by the way, $250 is almost laughable because look at what we do to people who violate short-term rentals.
Yes.
Where we're talking about $1,000 and $3,000 and $5,000 a day fines. You want to talk about
Yeah.
getting somebody's attention?
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
kind of
That's how
number
you
you need
get
to
it.
build.
Now,
in there.
now let me clarify the $200. It's just for complaints. There are other liquidated damages that are.
Just
Are
for
you
complaints.
done with this,
I-
with the
you know,
presentation,
yeah,
sir?
Yeah.
Do you have a few more slides to go?
Just a few. Yeah.
Huh?
Mr. Mayor, can I say something before we continue?
Yeah.
We're not rewarding a contract. All we want to know if we want to reward the RFP and allow you.
Yeah,
to
I don't know why we're
It's
going to
better
negotiate contract
stay-
clauses
Yes.
Let's
tonight.
not talking about contract. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So
Can-
if,
Well,
if we're gonna go
with
there,
that being the case-
then he's done.
Yes.
He's done.
Yeah.
With that-
we're
So
not-
if we're gonna
we
move on
can't
to the
be discussing
conversation,
contract tonight.
and we're done. The sole purpose of him going into that is to let you know what we've negotiated in the contract, because we did anticipate, that
Okay,
there have been
we-
issues in the past. What have we done?
Okay,
what have we
we
put
don't-
in place
we're
to
not
move
there yet.
forward?
We
So
made a
that's what we're
presentation.
saying.
We made a presentation.
So
We
we're ready to
presented the
move forward, yes,
resolution. Let's ask the public, because we have to open it to the public.
Mr.
I mean, we
Mr.
did.
Mayor, there is something I would propose. Why don't we discuss it here?
No.
No. Robert rules of law allow us to discuss
No,
that.
we can.
We
If
just
I-
have to
You
put
can,
it out there after.
Afterward, yeah.
You need to open it to the public, but it
I
doesn't.
want to hear what they
you
say
need to-
first. Yeah, I want to hear
But
that.
instead of listening to everybody, I would like to discuss on that, and then let them talk. It will be easy. We will spend less time.
But
Me, my
if we-
proposal for tonight, what I understand whether we keep Westport or we hire someone else, is gonna be more money. If it's gonna be more money, I will recommend that we cancel that RFP and we put it out for bid again. So we can see all proposals and see who's gonna come better. That's where I would go.
We already have two
Unless it's
people.
gonna be the same 250.
Mr. Mayor, I would just
That's where
recommend.
I would go.
I don't know if you, yeah, are you finished?
Yes.
We gotta let
Hmm?
people speak.
Yes, sir.
No,
We're
no,
gonna
like I
let
said,
them- they
we
speak
can,
after.
you can go
They
either
just
way.
need to speak.
We can discuss it first and then go to the public or vice versa.
Yeah.
Just like we did earlier.
Just to save time, the public know where we.
Do you want me to answer that question?
Yes.
Well,
What
I don't
question?
know
didn't
what are
answer
we
the
doing. I
question.
don't know if it's the public, if it's we speaking, if we vote, or what do you want,
We're
Mr.
not
Mayor?
voting. We're talking about.
But we have to vote, right?
We're gonna vote after.
We will eventually
We
open it to the public. Let's discuss it first.
Oh, it's, I don't know. Are you guys? I don't know. Are we?
I'm here for the long haul tonight.
Okay.
Y'all the ones that put.
Do
all
you
these
guys
things on the same
mind?
agenda.
Or you want to speak? I mean, they're already standing up.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't want them to read.
Or you don't want us to?
No.
discuss
I
it first?
should. Listen. Well, at this point, Mr. Former Mayor and Madam Resident, it's going to be a while, so you might want to just sit because that wasn't my preference, but that's how it's going, so I'll go with it. First and foremost, I don't like the direction of this from the get-go. I had clearly stated that we need to find a way and bring proposal to bring it in-house. I've always said that from the get-go. I even had discussion with Waste Pro about helping us bring it in-house because I understand the cost was the big factor. Clearly, that's not the case. Clearly, administration has one direction and some of us here might have other directions, which is fine. However, I am not going to sit and re-going through this because this was not done the proper way, because I felt that well, at least my understanding of it was, let's get some analysis of how much it will cost us to bring it in-house. We even talked about because I don't have any issue with Waste Pro commercial side because I don't have issues with the business people calling me, so I didn't mind. So I thought the plan was, let's work with Waste Pro. We should not even had a RFQ because I thought we were trying to bring it in-house with a proposal. Until tonight, I never gotten that that answer. I heard on the record, Mr. Manager, you had mentioned it would be 20 million, and I said, well, the fact that we didn't have it way before tonight, I'm just saying, the fact that we even here is it's not concerning, it's a little bit alarming because I didn't know we were going there. And on the side of that, I don't know if we read these. Every three, yes, we just got them. Every single one of them stated why. It's not that there was one of the particular one, and I'm not going to mention which name. One of them did not like the way the RFQ was put out because of it wasn't separated or between the commercial and the residential or whatever the time frame. The other one specifically talk about the process and the response that they gotten from us. And then the other one, so it wasn't that they wasn't interested. So, and I'm not going for that because I don't have any issues. Every time I call Kenneth and from Waste Pro, the folks there have been okay on some other side. If I have issues, I call Kenneth or I have my assistant, and it does get resolved within a couple of hours. That I cannot say. And like Councilman Gavin said, it has gotten better. But I was under the impression that we were working out a plan to bring this in-house. But now tonight with the presentation of not only we won't be getting the services that we need to get, and that's the importance about people who lived in this city for a while versus folks who come into work in this city. The services that we used to get was second to none. And I don't care how much money it costs again, and I had said this to you, Mr. Manager, bring it, let's discuss it. I don't care if we don't have no money. Let's look at what we need to do, that what priority to our resident, what's priority to us, at least to me. And then let's make a decision. That never happened. So now we're back to square one. Let's look at this. Let's get this. We didn't even have to even put this out. It could have been, this is going to cost us $20 million. Let's find a way. Let's work with Waste Pro until we fully, they had a plan for us when I had a conversation, and as soon as I got off the phone, I called you. I said, y'all need to talk to them. They were willing to sell us some of the truck because that was the biggest cost, and we would have worked. Because looking at the stuff, not only we don't have folks that's working in our city, that's picking up these trash, and I hear that the services reading through the RFQ, the people who are disabled and the elderly, they're going to go in. You know that's not going to happen. We cannot get that service. Now, if we had it in-house, yes. There are certain things that we could have demanded, and I don't think we could put a price if you said you care about North Miami, and we talk about a cleaning task force. I don't know how many times, and it's frustrating in the last year or so, and I've called Mr. Kenneth, and he always answered. Tons, and there's sometimes I don't even know, and I don't call staff, and occasionally I called you, Mr. Manager, I'll text you, I said, this block missing. It was like when they were coming at 7 p.m., it was 8 p.m., the people stayed and they suffered. They suffered. And I said, okay, I don't mind. I think the residential, we need to take over and keep our city clean for our resident. I don't care if it's a $10 million or $20 million. Let's tell the resident this is going to be us. It's going to be our people cleaning our street. We're going to buy some trucks from Waste Pro. They're going to work with us. If we would have came to them with a plan and said, we're going to have to hold on with Waste Pro for 2 years because we're buying stuff, and in 2 years it's going to be fully in-house. But in the 2 years, stick with us because it doesn't make sense for us to get a new company. Everybody who's coming here to speak would have said, I don't like it, but I'm okay with it. And I would have said, I don't like it, but I'm okay with it. And I'm going to go out there and do town hall meetings and tell the people we're going to bring it in-house. That did not happen. Whatever you guys decide to do, you guys can do it, but I'm out.
Mr. Mayor, but understand, Councilman Desilme, that was your proposal, but we never vote on it to say, yes, we want to bring it. No, because we never give them direction also.
Yes, we did. Yes,
No,
we did.
you-
No. We were here.
It's
I remember.
two things.
Mr. Councilman, we were here at one meeting, and I don't remember which meeting, and I know Jim and a couple of folks was here, and I see Mr. Medina shaking the head. We told Mr. Manager, and I remember, Scott, I don't know, get your recollection, your memory out. We told Mr. Manager, and the manager said, Councilman, I don't know if you were here that day, he said, I will research and come back with a plan.
No.
Yeah, with some prices, with a plan. That was almost a year ago.
But we did not tell him to cancel everything.
No. There was nothing to cancel. No. What I'm saying is he was supposed to come back to us with us bring it in-house and say, this is the study. And then we would have discussed it. I never gotten, I don't think nobody on this dais, unless he did it privately with you guys, never gotten that option. It was last week when we mentioned it, he said, yes, I have a study somewhere, or I have something, it's 20,000. On paper, we don't, but it's too late now. That's my whole point.
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
Nothing is too late.
There's nothing is too late.
Mr. Mayor, can I at least address that point? One, I just want to put on the record, the direction that was given by the council as a whole was to move forward with the RFP, and you guys actually approved an extension so that we could get that process done. We actually have done the analysis. We actually have a full presentation ready to go walk you through it tonight at your request. So we are prepared to do that as well. So we can kind of show you relative dollars to dollars what it would look like if we brought it in-house. Not necessarily dealing with the timing issue, but we went through and looked at cost of trucks, people, pension, and all that stuff. We have the presentation ready to go.
We need to see that.
Yes, please. But also, with their proposal in mind where they say, no?
Separate, an in-house study of what in-house
I
would
know,
be.
but what's important, they said to me, and I said to you to have that conversation with them, they will sell us their whatever trucks that we have so we don't have to, put out all the I know, we could decide, but
we can always have that presentation at our next meeting, but I would like to see that presentation at our next meeting.
We had it
Next
prepared.
meeting, if we're gonna vote on this.
Yeah, but we're not deciding anything tonight.
We're not gonna vote. We don't have to.
We have to for what?
We don't have to vote tonight?
We don't.
No, we don't have to vote
We
tonight.
don't have to vote tonight.
I find it hard to believe that 8 companies came to to the meetings and only one responded because we are so bad as a municipality that no company wants to conduct business with us. This is insulting. This is insulting for you guys to even present this to us. 8 companies come here. The city on the move, city of North Miami, the 5th largest city. They don't want to conduct business with us. We are that bad. We are that crooked. We are that non-transparent. That's why they don't want to do business with us. That's insulting. Only West Pro wants to do business with North Miami. A company that has been having so many complaints. 9 o'clock, garbage not picked up. Try to be that person who has his bins in front of his house, 9 p.m., and then his bins are not picked up. And this is the only company that we can conduct business with. That's all I got to say.
To piggyback on that, the other companies who did respond, they do want to do business with us, but they had issues with the
One
RFP.
company answered, he said he was very excited to join the bid and everything, but however, because of so many questions that were not answered, he said he forwarded many questions to the city because they were not satisfied with our answers or lack thereof. Therefore, they decided to go with the no bid. We satisfied with that?
Sir.
We got to do a lot better. We have to do a lot better.
That's
I mean,
fine,
not too long ago, we were here discussing complaints and after complaints that we've had from West Pro. It was right here, not too long ago. And this is the only company
Can I
that
address it? Please. Can I address it?
Go ahead.
Myself, nor the procurement director or the public works director are part of the solid waste industry. You see all of the pre-work that was done in going to the industry to ensure everybody had knowledge that we were doing the bid in the first place. We solicited their feedback before we actually even drafted the original RFP. So we went to the industry. The fact that they made a business decision not to move forward is not necessarily a reflection of not wanting to do business with us. the questions, I would tell you every single question that we received was answered and was sent out in an addendum. All of that stuff is online. The other companies had issues with the fact that when we approved the extension of Waste Pro in order to allow ourselves the ability to do the RFP, we extended the commercial for 1 year. That was the excuse.
Yeah.
However, I would submit to you, there is a way to monetarily adjust the bid that they could have made in order to accommodate for that extension. So for me, it is not an issue of people don't want to do business with North Miami. They made a business decision for themselves. Now, with regards to the in-house, I said, you did ask me, you asked me, Councilman Nasume, to come up with the analysis, and we worked on an analysis, and we have a full presentation to go over that. But as far as the solicitation is concerned and the solicitation process, I would submit to you that the procurement department and the administration went through extra links to ensure we engage with the industry, to ensure that we would get as many proposals back as possible, knowing full well that we hadn't had a price adjustment in 7 years. We were getting service level higher than what we were actually paying in our contract, because of the contract that was piggybacked from Miramar. So there was a lot of just regular issues.
I was here. It wasn't a true piggyback. The piggyback term originated from your predecessor, Mr. Johnson. It was never an actual piggyback. So
But I think you
and-
understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
We took a contract that had X terms, but we wanted Y service.
And so ask yourself then, why was the company willing to provide that service at a non-increased rate for so many years? It's because they're not making money off the residents where they weren't increasing the rate. And I get it. They performed service. They're doing bulk every week when the contract that Ms. Monestein negotiated was only once a month. I mean, I get it that they performed above, but where they're making money isn't with the residents. They're making money with the commercial. And and so that's where, you know, in my opinion, that's where one of the biggest unfairnesses happened, because when we privatized, we didn't just privatize for our residents who elect us. We privatized for every single commercial entity in the city, and they had zero choice. When their contract ran up, they had to go to Waste Pro. And I'm not saying that because of Waste Pro. I'm saying it would have been fault of any other waste management, any other who benefited off of that. So I hear the sad story that they didn't increase their rates for years, but the reality of it is they were making a lot of money off the commercial businesses, so they could afford to keep their rates cheaper, so to speak.
I'm just
for us.
speaking to the issue of residential service, and you're right.
But
They do make up
residential and commercial is part of what we're talking
Yes,
about here.
both services are there.
Right.
But keep this in mind, other cities with regards to commercial, and they have more than one commercial hauler that they license to create competition in their cities.
Yeah, that's what I believe that's what we
So,
That was my whole problem all along, is that we
But that
crowded
is-
everybody else out well, it wasn't the only problem. I mean, is Councilwoman still in the room? I'm sorry. But, you know, you get where I'm coming from. There was a lot of side stuff that was going on simultaneously of me having to vote on that contract. I know you can't talk to side stuff, but that side stuff is still right here, and I'm not gonna forget about it just because certain people aren't sitting in the room anymore.
I understand that from your perspective, all your perspective. We got charged to do an RFP, and we did it. These are the results. We went through the process. And it was clear from the budget hearing that there was gonna be, you know, a spirited conversation. This is where the debate's supposed to happen. But I don't want anyone on the dais to think that we did not do the job that we were directed to do.
Well,
'Cause
there
if you-
was
if
one
you walk
job that
through-
y'all didn't do. Y'all didn't present the stuff, so that's one.
Can I ask a quick question?
The presentation is on the laptop, ready to go.
Mr. Mayor, to you, can I ask a quick question? The service from 250 to how much?
It's going up to 2789, which is roughly like 352, 353, I think.
How much exactly you say?
What's that again?
From 250 to
I'll tell you right now. 27, 335.
Per residential home?
Yes.
What about the commercial?
The commercial is what, we get a franchise fee on top of the revenue that they generate, it's 12%.
Will you
And-
report, when we finally see a report, talk about real dollars, how much they're making off of the commercial services?
Because they charge per size of dumpster.
Yeah.
Huh? Per size of dumpster.
Right. But I
Per-
mean,
per
we can
dumpster.
do a guesstimate of,
We don't have to do a guesstimate, we go look at all the contracts, we can look at all the books and
it
records.
would be helpful to talk in real dollar
Okay.
terms. This is what they're making out of the commercial. This is what they're making out of the residential. And then when we're asked to formulate a contract that's fair to everybody, we can be a little bit more fair because we know exactly what dollars are being exchanged.
So what about the 3.5 million?
That's a max, that's a up to annual amount.
So who will be paying that? Us?
Yeah, and we've negotiated down from that number already.
Oh,
The CD?
oh, the city, yeah.
So if you recall in the budget workshop, I showed you guys a slide that had the revenue that we're currently assessing the citizens versus the cost of service.
No.
There's already a gap there right now.
Mhm.
And that gap came as a result of the increase that the increase on the cost side that we agreed to in the extension. So that was always there. And that was the discussion that we had. At some point, we have to decide in September when we're going through the budget process, how much of this cost do we intend to pass on to the residents via an increased solid waste assessment versus the amount that you want to have subsidized from the general fund.
Right, and that's the thing, we can't legitimately plan to continue just supplementing using the general fund
Right.
to keep costs low for the citizens. But if the contract is up right now, this is our one chance to talk about it openly, and honestly, we're 4 or
Absolutely.
5 years ago, that conversation wasn't had openly, and honestly, that conversation was railroaded through by none of the people who are in this room anymore except old man Galvin.
I was in the room.
Well, I bet you know what I'm saying, like,
One quick question, Mr. Manager.
Mhm.
I didn't vote.
Go
but I
ahead.
was-
Oh, you didn't vote?
No, I'm just-
No, because I don't even, a little speechless. So where we are tonight is, I guess you're proposing how we got here from the procurement, that was the RFQ that was put out, the RFP, was it? The RFP that was put out, and then the responding of that RFP. So what do we do? So we almost don't have a choice. But my question was, at the point where you felt like that the year time frame we gave to the commercial, that wasn't gonna fly too well, that was before or that was during the process?
No. We remember we agreed to the extension because we knew it was going to take X amount of months in order to put the RFP out, evaluate it, award it, negotiate the final contract, allow the vendor to then go. One of the things we're asking for is for them to procure brand new trucks.
Yes.
So all of the time frame to do all of that stuff, we estimated it was going to be 13 months or something like
Okay.
that. So that's why we did
That
the
was-
extension.
so the
One of the bargaining issues that we had was they presented a situation where on the front end of their contract, the commercial did not transition to them in the time frame that it was
So both
supposed
of
to do.
these, both of these folks had the same issue.
Right.
The last one and the first one.
Right.
So if you were to, that's not my recommendation. You guys already know my recommendation. If you were to put it out, and I understand the frustration that the mayor has, would it be fixed where these folks would not feel, no?
No, because
So we stuck, so that's why.
well,
I
no,
just told
at
you.
this point, and that's when you
You know,
I am.
you know.
He
Well,
just told you.
well, what I'm saying to you is, theoretically, if you want to throw this bid out, that means I have to go to Waste Pro and negotiate a further extension in order to.
We know that, not
Okay,
that. I'm talking about a good one where these folks, which I don't want to do, because I probably would not vote for any of them, because you know where I want to go, is bring it in-house. So where would, because the mayor frustration, I understand, and we going back out there, that people gonna say, well, you had companies that was interested, but you messed up the date, so then the schedule. So we didn't want to do that. So I'm saying if the decision of this body, which would not be my recommendation again, because if y'all had listened to my recommendation, we would have never even been here. But anyhow, if we were going this, would it be fixed where we don't run into this problem anymore? So we would say 2019, whatever.
The only thing I can tell you is, and again, I'm not the only respondent to your question.
Yes,
The
sir.
Waste Pro has to respond to the administration. You could do an extension that ends, if they agree to it, at the same time the commercial ends.
What if they don't agree to it?
What date is that?
It's